1. I'm fairly new to the front desk. I've been working at my hotel for 6 months, but only been on front desk for about a month and a half or so I'm still learning and getting my footing. I cover 2 1/3 shifts per week, and generally it's fairly quiet. I love it because I just vibe out to true crime podcasts and crafting for a couple of hours after getting my cleaning list done. The other night, however, my true crime podcast and crafting became the least interesting part of my night. It was about 3 a.m. when this couple approached the front desk and asked to speak with me. They informed me that the guy they were staying there with, the one actually renting the room, nice guy, was carrying around a Sharpie and writing on stuff around the property. They showed me the writing on the lobby bathroom and the post outside the front entrance. They claimed they didn't want to be held accountable for his actions and just wanted to do the right thing. They then immediately asked if they could get some reward or help from us for their selfless act. I am a great judge of character, and every alarm possible started going off in my head. I was the one who checked them in the morning before, and there were just numerous speed bumps with their check-in process, so I had spent quite a bit of time working with Nice Guy and writing gang gang in red Sharpie on the switch plate in our bathroom just didn't seem right. So I went on alert. I watched the cameras when they were prowling around, which was basically all night. They were all over the place. And when they went out front supposedly to smoke, I would find an excuse to be in the foyer so I could see them. I just had a strong feeling that they were the graffiti artist wannabes. Shortly after 4 a.m., I decided to do my walk through the hallways, got to the 2nd floor, and as I was passing the guest laundry room, I noticed giant black writing on the top of our dryer, F white people. Side note, Nice Guy and the couple were all white peoples. And that's where they messed up. I don't think they realized that I had cleaned that area shortly after midnight, and that writing wasn't there. Nice Guy hadn't left the room all night long. They, on the other hand, had been out hourly. I called my AGM, who had me call the non-emergency police dispatch to file a report. Cops came out, talked to me, then went up to talk to them. The couple came down a few minutes later and went outside while the police talked to Nice Guy, then came down and told me they couldn't do anything because it was he said, she said. But the main cop said he thought the couple were trying to take advantage of Nice Guy, and potentially trying to extort something from us. The couple came back to the desk after the police left, insisting I let them have their own room because they just couldn't stand being associated with someone defacing property. I told them they'd have to talk to my manager, which they hated. Meanwhile, I texted the owner, the only person with the ability to rewind the cameras, and explained the situation and asked if he could see who had been in the guest laundry since I had cleaned it at midnight. He quickly checked and sent me the picture. And guess who? It was the couple. Nice Guy ended up coming down and talking to me and my manager about the situation. He'd been out for a singles Valentine's at a bar and had met them. They gave him a big sob story about having nowhere to go, that she was supposedly pregnant, and he felt bad for them, so he let them come with him. He was supposed to be checking out that day, and we all suspect they were throwing him under the bus to extort a couple of free nights from us for being good Samaritans. 2. Hi all, let me introduce my situation. I work in a boutique hotel in the West Coast. We are very poorly managed, which I mostly believe is because we aren't managed by a large chain. It's a company that is local to our county, actually. We have literally no amenities, no pool, gym, or breakfast. We used to have breakfast, but the company got rid of it peak COVID and just never brought it back. 4 years later, some of our third parties and other websites still state that we have breakfast. I have brought this up to upper management multiple times, and nothing has been done about it. And guess who has to deal with disgruntled guests thinking front desk is at fault for this misinformation? Me. Anyways, that's just a taste of how badly managed our hotel is. Our front desk staff usually work on their own, mainly PM and night audit, as we have less than 60 rooms. We have a massive turnaround rate, which I fully understand. I would leave too, but literally nobody else is hiring, and I'm not in a place financially to mess around. My manager, who has been working at this hotel since 2013, recently left to be a GM at our sister property. Let me tell you that he absolutely sucks. He seems to have no brain cells and just hires whoever shows up for the interview. My interview process at Walmart, of all places, was more intense than this hotel. He left us with an incompetent new GM who was only trained for about 2 weeks, and to make matters worse, he is an older gentleman with no idea how to use modern technology. Which is fun. The whole situation has made me hate my fucking job even more. I've turned into an alcoholic because of this shit show of a job. I am the second longest staying front desk employee. I started in January 2023. My coworkers are notorious for calling out constantly at the last minute, very incompetent, and I've gotten complaints from guests regarding them. I've been told by our number one regular that I am the only one here who seems to know how to do their job. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I am just trying to find ways to explain how shit they are. I have to deal with constant anxiety before every shift, wondering if I'll be able to go home. I've dealt with no call, no shows, and extreme tardiness. I can't relax on my days off because I'm afraid I'll be called in. I don't know how they do it. We live in a city where the median rent is $2,000. I cannot afford to call out. I'm the only one here who doesn't call out every other week, but anyways. Because I seem to be the most competent one here, and I really don't have much of a life or any kids, I got promoted to front desk supervisor. The new GM needed a little wingman, because he doesn't know shit and my old manager just stranded him, so upper management decided to promote me. I really do need the money, so I just took it. I am 21 years old and my coworkers are 8 years older than me. My old manager warned me that being in a higher position at such a young age, that the staff here will eat me alive and take advantage of me whenever they can. Let me tell you that he ended up being right. Unfortunately, this means I have to deal with schedules with staff that are insanely picky with the days they have off. It's been super hard given that we're also understaffed. Our manager leaving suddenly also doesn't help. The front desk, full-time night audit employee, who has been here longer than me, I believe she was hired August 2021, has always had a fixed schedule with Friday and Saturday being her days off. Because we have been understaffed, she has been having to work those days, sometimes 6 days in a row. My old manager asked her to do this, not me. Which she was fine with for the time being, but expressing some frustration which I do understand. On her days off, I cover the night audit shift. I've been doing all 3 different hotel shifts weekly to accommodate everyone, which has been so exhausting, and does not help my chronic fatigue. My new GM told me she was tired after working the 6-day weeks straight. This was only for 2 weeks. I took that into account. I format the schedule where everybody gets 5 days of work, then 2 days to rest after that. This week, February 25th to the 2nd of March, I had her work Tuesday to Saturday. Before I posted the schedule, I brought this up to her when she came in for her shift. She immediately started hovering over me, trying to change this person's shift, that person's shift, just so she can have her Friday and Saturday off. She was changing the schedule in ways that massively inconvenienced the other front desk staff, and also doing the schedule isn't her fucking job. I told her she can't be doing this, as I would have had some people working when they had to be at their second jobs. She dismissed me and just kept bossing me around. I eventually got really frustrated and broke down crying. In an annoyed tone, she told me to stop crying, that she knows I have anxiety and that she has anxiety too. Okay. I guess this made her feel bad, and she shut up and said the schedule was fine, whatever. We got a new hire who I feel is going to leave ASAP. Because of this, I am finally able to give her the fixed days, Friday and Saturday off this upcoming week. But here is the thing, I could only make the schedule work by giving her 4 days. I gave her Sunday, the 3rd of March, off as a small break because if I didn't, she would be working 10 days in a row. I thought she would have been fine with it, as she has been saying she's very tired and she calls off every other week, either way, so I didn't think of it as much of an issue. I know she has kids and is recently divorced. The last time I had to work that many days in a row, I was borderline developing suicidal thoughts by the end of it. I do not want to put anybody else in that situation. This week is kind of an awkward reset week, as we are finally getting our schedules back to normal now that we're fully staffed. We also have some people from our sister location helping out, who have had their hours badly cut because my old manager took over 2 days of front desk. She would be back to 5 days the following week after this upcoming one. Yesterday night I showed her the schedule. I was met with immediate attitude and she tells me, "Don't cut my hours." I tell her that was absolutely not my intention, and I don't want her to work 10 days in a goddamn row. She states, "It's fine, I've done it before." Then she gets annoyed and tells me it's fine to keep the schedule the way I made it. Alright. I sent out the schedule this morning. I'm trying to be better about it. She then immediately sends me a text, which was her telling me that I had to do the schedule over, because it didn't work for her, even though I was trying to get her days off. She was even claiming that my GM didn't want help from our sister location. If he'd really wanted that, he would have called me. I am very emotionally charged in these messages. Some are uncalled for. I definitely could have gone a better way about this. I changed the schedule. I don't want any animosity with my coworkers. If she wants to work 10 days in a row, then that's fine. I asked her if she was sure like 20 times, as long as she doesn't complain to me about it. I don't know who I should go to talk to her about her. This 38-year-old woman is being a bully. She made the argument of I've been here the longest. It's redundant, because my housekeeping have been here since the early 2010s, and don't whine like this. Housekeeping has told me that she keeps sleeping in vacant rooms during her shifts. She is also extremely rude to guests. I don't know how she's not gone with more than 3 write-ups to her name. Last week a guest needed help, and she was not at the front desk at all. The guest ended up going inside our back office and found some phone numbers pasted on our wall and called the fucking CEO of our company at 4 a.m. How is she not gone at this point? I came into work today and saw she wrote over the physical schedule I printed out. She modified it so I work 4 days. Lady, you are not in charge of the schedule. I am. I'm just fed up. I'm currently writing this on shift and she's due to be here in less than 2 hours. Dreading that. Hopefully she shows up on time. Hellfreezer's note. Firstly, if you click through to the original story, listeners, you will find a link to the text messages. The OP's tone is perfectly fine and reasonable in them. The only critique I would offer, and I mean this beneficially, is you need to remember you're the boss, you're making the schedule. Set the schedule, that's it. She doesn't get to change it. Don't be nice to her, do not accommodate her, she's gonna whine regardless. And keep a note of everything she's doing, like sleeping in the rooms, all those various infractions. Keep a note of them, make sure it's passed on to the right people. And hopefully your workplace will be a lot more pleasant when the higher-ups finally have had enough. 3. I work at a hotel as front desk, not revealing who or what company, but we have a policy of give the same energy as your guest is giving to you. So we are allowed to be sassy within reason. We can easily tell the customer to come back when they're feeling nicer, when they're being unpleasant or rude, and refuse service until they want to behave. I got my first Karen in this industry tonight. I let her inside and locked the doors with a child, after seeing her and her partner exit the vehicle that had just pulled up to the doors. The door relocks behind her automatically. This is how I knew they were together. There is a landline outside that connects to the front desk, so people can ask to enter when the doors are locked. I can also see everything on camera and watch them pull up to the doors. The woman complains that her mobile check-in didn't work. As another note, our policy is to take a deposit in case they wreck the room. It'll be returned to them after their stay as long as they haven't destroyed or taken anything. It's possible mobile check-in didn't work because she didn't have a card on file that was operational. For mobile check-in, you get a mobile key, so, of course, if the deposit didn't take during mobile check-in, she has to be checked in by me. We don't want them wrecking the room if the deposit can't be taken, so no mobile key for you until I get that deposit. So I am checking her in, and of course it declines her card. She jammed her card in again, and the card reader fell over and started restarting. I tried to go to another computer, but it was pointless as it took 30 seconds for it to come back online. The entire time she was complaining about how long it was taking. It rejected her card 2 more times. She was pissed and kept saying, "There's money on it. I don't know what you want me to do." I told her she would need to use a different card. She got mad and put the new card in way too early, so it didn't charge her card. She kept saying it was ridiculous and how she was so tired and this is taking way too long in a very rude tone. I was pretty fed up at this point. Then she said, "This shouldn't take this long, this should be quick." At that point, the front desk phone started to ring, signaling that someone was at the door, needing to be let inside. We lock the doors at night for safety reasons and have to let those without a hotel door card inside ourselves. She asked me, "Are you going to get that?" She wanted me to stop checking her in and go answer the door for her husband, even though she had just asked me to check her in quickly moments before. I was fed up, so I told her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, you wanted this done quickly. It'll have to wait." I said in a very firm and final tone. She was spluttering, making random syllables as she didn't know what to say to that, as I quickly coded her card keys, put them in her hand, and then answered the door for her husband, who had no idea what was going on. I told them to have a good night and then quickly left the lobby. She seemed embarrassed. Please be patient with your hotel staff. They can't control when your card declines or if the card reader messes up, because you're jamming your card in like a tired toddler. The malicious compliance. I made Karen wait on me to check her in for 5 seconds before I answered the door for her husband, thus making her husband wait on me and making her too embarrassed to form words because she kept saying random syllables, like she was shocked I wouldn't do as she asked the minute she asked. I'm not going to run around at the snap of her finger. You just asked me to check you in quickly. I'm going to comply with that maliciously and make your husband wait. I'm not going to stop doing that just to unlock the door. You have 2 legs. You're perfectly capable of walking 40 feet to stand in front of an automatic door so it'll open too. It wouldn't be very quick if I stopped everything to do that now, would it? The whole thing took less than 2 or 3 minutes. It was a quick check-in. I complied with everything she said, but my tone of voice when I told her to wait greatly pissed her off, which is why it's malicious. I'm not going to let her order me around just because she's tired, and can't use a card reader properly. She didn't like that I made her husband wait at the locked doors for less than 10 seconds. I knew it was her husband because she handed him a key card, and he was driving the car they arrived in. I watched them drive in via camera. It was completely visible from the lobby, him getting luggage from the car just as she exited. There is a landline in the building area, which is the place before the entrance with a bench. But technically inside, it is between 2 automatic doors, the innermost is locked. It's there so that anyone who can't get in because they don't have a key card can connect to the front desk and ask for entry. I can view them on the cameras before opening the doors. So I watched them arrive together, which is why I can safely conclude he was her husband. Or brother. Though I'm pretty sure that was her husband, because they had a child with them. That is usually the case. This is how I knew the two were related in some way and staying together. I was very compliant because she knew her husband was on the landline. If not, why would she demand I go get it? She also wasn't specific in what I should get, because she could be referring to 2 things, the door or the phone, both of which were connected because it was her husband calling to get inside because, again, the doors don't just unlock like when I went to get the door for her when she first entered. I can let people in by standing in front of those doors without unlocking those automatic doors. It's a safety issue we have. The husband was handling the luggage, which is another reason I knew they were staying together, in some fashion, and why he needed to call the front desk to get inside. Epilogue. It's now been a day later, and this lady has the audacity to review bomb our website and lie about the entire interaction, as if our cameras don't have audio and crisp picture. I cannot post screenshots. I'm going to have to type out the excerpt here because I do not want to dox my location. including commentary. The check-in process was lackluster. I called 5 hours in advance to make staff aware of a late check-in. Correct, you called ahead. This is one of the only true statements in the entire review. Upon arrival, all entry doors were locked. Did you expect us to sure call safety protocols just because Princess Karen and her maids-in-waiting have arrived? No, thank you. I'm not going to risk crazy people entering the hotel while I'm doing audit in the back room, just so you can roll up. I used the house phone in the entry corridor to call the front desk. True statement, too. The front desk was non-friendly and non-communicative. Oh, now, looky here. That's an outright lie. For example, she had an electric car and asked me if we had chargers. I said no, but I would look one up for her. After she rolled her eyes, I decided not to. You get what you give, sweetie. I also informed you every step of the way what was going on, and that your card didn't work. Don't blame me, blame your bank. I have nothing to do with you acting like a toddler. After checking in, I went to the front desk to pick up the 4 water bottles I purchased, only to find the front desk clerk to be reading a book in the lobby and dozing off. How can I be dozing off and reading a book? Man, those are some skills there. You never came back to the lobby, ever. I'd remember you. You didn't purchase 4 water bottles, you didn't purchase a single one. I also don't read books at work. I am not going to stand at attention at my desk like a soldier at post at 3 a.m. just to sell your stupid-ass water bottles for 8 hours on concrete floors. Not to mention, I can't sell anything after the night audit. They arrived at 3. Of course, the doors were going to be locked, you absolute moron. I was also given a first floor that faces the morning sun. Not sure why a front desk would place a late check-in guest in that location, knowing the sun would be rising in 3 hours after check-in. I really don't know what to say to this one. She expects me to change how the morning sun rises for them? We had a completely full house last night, so no, I couldn't move you. Not that I would anyhow. Not to mention you're the lowest level member in the tier of membership in this hotel. Did you think you were getting top floor by attitude alone? The sun would have risen and been in your face no matter what room you got. Use the blinds and shades, you fucking idiot. A friend said something last night I found hilarious. That lady is bitch blind. She said it on accident, but I agree she's blind to her own bitchiness. Go complain to someone who cares, Karen. Management saw the whole thing on camera. Everything you said was a lie. I didn't get in any type of trouble. My job was never threatened. You just exposed for being a liar. 4. Hey all, night audit here at a Smilton. At my location I am required to do both breakfast and front desk. My coworker who trained me would start at 3 a.m. to avoid issues with guests, and I was told by management they don't want food coming out of the oven earlier than 5 a.m., ideally, since it starts at 6 a.m. and would be sus. Anyways, the paperwork I was given specifically states that I am not required to do the dishes for making breakfast, and once a coworker complained that I didn't do the full sink of dishes, they left me. A manager said I don't have to do any dishes. Usually, I try to be courteous and make sure that I clean up after myself as much as possible. However, my breakfast attendants really are doing an absolutely terrible job, and I find myself spending 25 minutes to an hour cleaning up after them. Keep in mind that they want every hot or cold coming out 1 hour to the start of breakfast. One of the ladies was the assistant head housekeeper 7 years ago before she was fired. She has openly talked to me about how she is currently facing charges for possession with intent to sell methamphetamines. She will follow me around for the last hour of my shift, frantically waving her arms with a raised voice, talking about how my managers are running the place into the ground and no one, except me, wants to work, complaining about minorities, and complaining that while she volunteers to do all these other side jobs, no one appreciates her. I'm thinking of just going near zero effort, not cleaning up after her and not doing my dishes since I am not required. She is obviously on meth, admits her ex and both her kids are meth heads, super dilated eyes, practically screaming 24/7, super animated, literally foaming from the mouth. Has been reprimanded for harassing me and management, sending us walls and walls of text all night, and she's always 10 to 20 minutes late. Also, she recommended her personal friend, who no-showed 80% of her shifts for 2 months, and then admitted meth use when she was fired. A Hellfreezer's note. Yeah, stop doing anything that helps that person immediately. You don't have to do the dishes. It is nice to be nice, but in this case, it's going completely underappreciated. You deserve better treatment. As for our methy friend there, just leave her be. She will eventually get herself fired. It does sound like at least management is taking you seriously with her behavior. 5. Former front office manager here, worked in hospitality for a decade, and I'm full of stories. But this one makes me still slap my forehead every time I remember it. Your average middle-aged couple checks in one evening. And you know as soon as they start interacting with you that it's going to be one of those days. To try to be proactive and mediate as much as possible before shit hitting the fan, I really did everything for them, down to asking our chef and restaurant staff to be overly nice with them. Gave them absolutely no reason to complain for a refund. Of course, I had the pleasure of checking them out in the morning, and as soon as I saw her face scrunched like we served her toothpaste-flavored orange juice for breakfast, I went into my Zen breathing and tried to control my upcoming emotions. Besides giving me the whole spiel of how they expected so much more, and just did not enjoy themselves, nor slept well, nor had any shower pressure. She said she also wanted to order room service dinner, and the phone didn't work. Did she call the bar? Did she call the restaurant? Did they not answer?
No. I called reception because you told me that I can just press 0 and I can call the front desk, and it didn't work.
In the meantime, I sent maintenance to check it, and they confirmed the phone is fine. So I prodded on how it was not working and what happened. Exasperated out of her mind, she indulges me with eye rolls and sighs and says,
"Look, I'll show you."
Then proceeds to take out her mobile phone, press 0 on the number pad, and show me that it is not dialing our reception.
See?
Yes, I did ask very gently whether she used the phone in her room to do this, and she assured me it was the same mobile phone she used while in the room, and it still did not connect to reception. I cannot recall how I managed to respectfully explain closed line connections within the hotel, but I felt so sorry that those nice folks almost starved to death last night because of our inability to predict this situation. Lessons were learned that day. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 141. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. That's our way of training YouTube to know that you like the videos and that they should tell other people about that. Let's see if we can poke those channel numbers up, eh? And if you'd like to get early access to these videos, then please do support me on my Patreon. The Patreon money is really helping these days. Unfortunately, YouTube just isn't, it's not quite what it used to be for me. Hopefully we'll get there again, but at the moment, things are sort of on the low end. So if you choose to, and you already are, thank you very much. You'll also find a link to the Hellfreezer merchandise store in the description, and if you want to leave a tip for this video, you can do that by clicking on the heart with the $sign in the middle underneath the video. But you don't have to do any of that, although I do appreciate it and thank you kindly. Okay, don't think we've any shoutouts today, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, what is your favorite herb or spice or seasoning or just whatever you like to shove in food to make it taste yummy? I'll even accept ketchup if you have to. For me, it's quite easy. Garlic. I use lots of garlic. I've always got some form there. I'll take it in any form. I'll take it in ground garlic. I'll take it in salt form. I will take it pureed. I have rarely bought fresh garlic, though. Honestly, I think I've only ever bought it once, because it seems like a lot of hassle preparing it. I should probably just get a crusher, shouldn't I? I should probably just get a garlic crusher. Because let's be honest, fresh garlic is going to be better than anything else. But that's mine. Why don't you let me know what you think in a comment below? And before we go, we'll have the answer of the day from a previous video. Let's see what we have. And today's answer comes from Coahw 139. That was 2 videos ago, I believe. Unfortunately, I think the question of the day for that video was a little bit too specific. It was aimed at delivery drivers and what's the weirdest thing you've seen on your route. But an answer did come from Dust Warden saying, I don't work delivery and I don't think I could. The way people drive these days, being on the road all the time would be nerve-wracking. That's why I'm saying we should all have robot cars. Thank you for your answer, Dust Warden. And with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.